Welcome everyone to Friday Flowers. This is Sheshe and today's flower is the daisy and the Gerber daisy. So what we're making today, it looks like this. This is the Gerber daisy and here is the daisy. Okay? So what you'll need to make this flower is an embossing folder. It is made by a company called Darice. This is the pattern. The name of this embossing folder is Bold Floral. And the item number for this is 1219111. But what you'll do is cut your cardstock. You're not going to emboss the whole piece of paper, but you'll need 4 squares cut at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. You'll place the square at the center, and I'll show you the picture what the center I'm talking about. We're just going to focus on this center right here that we're embossing right here. Okay, so I've placed my cardstock in the center and we're going to emboss that square. So I have this embossing machine and I'm going to just run it through so you understand how this process works. But like I said, you only need 4 squares of the 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, once you run that through, you will get something like this, and you will cut that out, and I'll show you the border of where we're going to be cutting. And you're just going to trim right around this edge like so. Just this shape. And this will be for both flowers, the Gerber daisy and the daisy. So I came up with this idea. I was watching some of the flower tutorials like Heartfelt Creations and some of the other flower companies that have dies like Spellbinders, and they have like wonky shapes to make their flowers, and I just looked at the patterns of how the flowers are put together, and when I saw this embossing folder, I thought maybe I could make a flower out of this. And this is the shape you will get. So you just look at the flower, make sure that all the petals are separated where you can mold them into a flower. Okay, for the first daisy, you'll just take the brush and bend the petals around the brush and go around the first flower. You'll do this for all 4 flowers. Just bend those petals like so. And just go around and around. And you'll have some dimension that looks like this. Like that. Okay, you'll do that for all 4. So I have done that. And what you'll do is take some glue and just glue the center, and you just kind of look at each flower and just turn it to give it a full look. So you just press that down, and then you just move on to the next petal of flowers, the next flowers, and look to see how those petals look, and just turn it and just keep turning it until you see where some petals need to go on your flowers to give it a full look. So I think I need some long petals here, so I'm going to press it down right here like that. See, it's coming together. So here's my top layer. So I'm going to put some glue in the center like so, And I believe I need some longer petals over here. So as I'm looking, I'm going to place my flower right there and press it down. And that's how you place your flower down and put your daisy together. Then for the center, I'll put some glue like that. Now I don't have any gold type micro beads, so what I will do is just put some micro beads in the center, and then once it dries I will use a alcohol marker and color them like a golden color. But that's all you do. And then we'll just make sure all those micro beads go onto that glue center. Just keep putting them in the glue and let it stick, and then the glue will dry. So that's how you create the daisy. And when you're done, the daisy will look like this. And you can add your green leaves to that. So that's how you create the daisy. Next we're going to work on the Gerber daisy. You repeat those same steps to create the Gerber daisy. So I've done that. So we're going to start off where we left off with the daisy, but we're going to add some steps. Now when you're making the Gerber daisy, you'll need a scallop punch and some type of punch like this. You can use snowflakes. I got this punch from Joann's. It was relatively inexpensive, but something like this for the center. So I have punched out some shapes, and for the small part of this, what I did was took some glue and just created some layers like this and just layered it together, offset each one, and I just kept stacking. So I believe I took about 8 of these little I believe they're like small stamens, but I just kept stacking them on top of each other until I got something like this. When I got it grouped all together, just keep stacking. Then once you got them all together, after you've stacked them, you just fluff them up. And then I had some ink that I got, and you can just kind of give it some color like that around the edges. And the ink that I used for this is Potter's Clay by Memento. And for this little center right here, I added some black micro beads. So I have some American Crafts micro beads. So all I did was put a little bit of glue in the center of that, like this. And then just sprinkled a little bit of micro beads in the center, like that. So I'm going to set that aside to dry, because that will be the center of our flower. Now we're going to work on another part of the Gerber daisy, and that's where you'll need the scallop punch. And I'll show you a tip. When you're cutting out your flower, you'll get something like this. You can take your scallop punch, and to save paper, just cut it out like that. So, and you can also use this part for the stamens too. So just a tip. So what you'll need for that part is an embossing mat, because what I'm about to show you will help your centers. So I'm going to get my embossing tool. And what I do for the center of the Gerber daisy is just take the embossing tool and go around the edges like this. And you cut out as many as you think you will need to layer to get that Gerber daisy design. So I just use a judgment call and continue to layer. So what I do is I get a pair of scissors and I just start to cut little snips like this into the scallop, and then I take my glue and just put some glue in the center, and I just keep stacking like that, and then I'll just keep snipping a little bit. Like that. And then I'll also put some more glue in the center like so, and then I'll put some more snips into the scallop like that, and I'll stack some more, and then I'll just keep looking at it, and maybe I'll add more stacks like that. But you just keep stacking and snipping, and I'll give you an idea of what the layer looks like. Like this. Once you get them all together like that, you just start to scrunch them all together. You can add some ink around the edges, some more Mento ink to give it some color. Like that. So once you're done, you will then put some in the center. Now this one is not completely dry, so I'm going to put this in the center and let that dry. I do have some that's already dry, so here's my finished center that's dry, and then I have one that's completely dry that I pre-glued before I started this video. So I'm going to glue these two pieces together. And then when you're ready for the center to go into the Gerber daisy, you will put some glue into the center and put that into the center. And I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to work on the leaves. So I have my embossing tool. I'm going to go around the leaf like this, and I'm going to go around this leaf like this. I'm going to put two leaves on the flower and then give it some veins. Just draw in some veins with your embossing tool. Go down the center. To zoom in a little bit closer, you can see what I'm doing, where I'm drawing. I'm just going in and just drawing in some veins, and then I'll flip the leaves over so you can see just how much this looks like a real leaf. So I have my Gerber daisy. I'm going to zoom on out. I'm going to flip it over on the back, and I'm going to glue on my first leaf. I'm just going to look and see where it needs to go, like right about here. And then I'm going to do the next one. Like that. Press that down, and there you have it. 2 leaves for the Gerber daisy. So here are my Friday flowers, the daisy and the Gerber daisy. Here is an example of what you can do with the Gerber daisy, adding them to a box or a gift bag, make cute embellishments. There's so many things you can do with them. They look very realistic. I got my inspiration from a picture on Google of some real Gerber daisies, so I hope you'll give this a try. So take care everyone, and have a fabulous day.